si Congressman Zia Alonto Adyong, Lanao del Sur 1st District Representative. Ating tatalakayin sa umagang ito ang panukalang pag-amyenda nga sa economic provisions ng 1987 Constitution. Magandang umaga, Congressman. Ito po si Bombo Victor together with Bombo Alaysa. Welcome to the program.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat at magandang umaga sa inyong mga taga-subaybay.
Kung mainit itong issue ngayon sa charter change sa pamamagitan nga yan nitong tinatawag na People's Initiative, kayo po bilang isang mambabatas, pabor po ba kayo sa nasabing hakbang na layong ang amyendahan itong economic provisions ng 1987 Constitution?
Well, I think it's not only me that is in favor to revisit yung ating Constitution, particularly doon sa mga provisions na economic. In fact, through the People's Initiative, nakita naman natin na yung taong bayan, ang sila mismo, they took upon themselves as provided under the Constitution na bisitahin uli ang ating Constitution para mapag-usapan ang mga possible na amendments na gagawin dito, particular doon sa ating mga economic provisions. And this is not just happened this year, no? In fact, several years ago, there has already been a growing consensus among experts, among different sectors in our society na nagsusulong na kailangan napapanahon na at kailangan nating i-revisit ang ating Constitution, particularly doon sa economic provisions, para mapag-usapan kung paano pa natin patitibahin at palalawakin ang mga posibilidad na magkaroon ng additional na revenue sa ating gobyerno patungkol sa mga direct investments dito sa ating bansa. And I guess it is just now that the Senate has already made its voice very, very clear. Nasabi naman yan ng ating Senate President na at naghahain nga sila ng kanilang resolution to amend the Constitution, yung economic provision. Itong inisyatiba na ginagawa ng ating mga ng publiko, ng ating mga kababayan, ay isa ito sa mga nilalaman ng ating Constitution na inaalaw o binibigyang isa ito sa mga paraan para ipagbigay ang karapatan ng ating mga kamamamayan na sila mismo ay makibahagi, sila mismo ang magsulong para sa ating mga mambabatas na i-revisit ang ating Constitution. So I guess it's already an agreed position for several years and several decades ago na kailangan natin I think it's time at kailangan nating i-revisit ang ating Constitution for possible amendments doon sa economic provision, to be specific,
Congressman, sa inyong distrito, nagkaroon na po ba nitong pangangalap ho ng pirma para ho sa People's Initiative? At may mga nagsasabi po kasi na itong si House Speaker Martin Romualdez ang nasa likod ng pagtutulak nitong People's Initiative. Kayo po ba ay nakatanggap na ng utos mula kay Speaker?
Well, personally, I haven't talked about with the Speaker regarding this. There was no direct, as far as I'm concerned, hindi ho namin napag-usapan ni Speaker ito. Wala ho siyang direktiba sa akin na ako mismo ang sumulong nitong People's Initiative. In fact, yung kanina pong katanungan ninyo, yes, it's all over the Philippines now, dahil nga po inaalaw po ng ating Constitution, isa po ito sa mga modes kung paano ay amendahan ng Constitution insofar as the People's Initiative. Well, there's already a decided case on that kasi sabi sa Santiago versus Comelec, in fact, it has also been reiterated by Lambino versus Comelec in 2006 na though the Constitution allows it's as a mode of to amend the Constitution, itong People's Initiative, what it can do, it can only propose for an amendment, but it would not directly amend the Constitution. Yun po yung sinabi doon sa decision ng ating Supreme Court. So, sa katanungan mo, yes, there's may effort na po at may initiative ang ibang sektor sa aking distrito from sectors in my district na para makisali dito sa People's Initiative. At as far as I can recall, my district has already reached yung People's Initiative, itong effort na to has already reached, I guess, more than the 3% minimum requirement of the total registered voters. So doon hindi ho ako natanong ni speaker or hindi rin ako na bigyan ng direktiba ng ating speaker para isulong, no, ang ating people's initiative. But the speaker is very very clear, no. At ang position naman po ng House of Representatives is that kumbaga the speaker does not direct nor is he opposing itong mga initiatives na ito. So basically, as part of the democratic space ng ating bansa, in order to discuss a very pressing issues, bilang isang kinatawan, hindi naman ho ako nag-oppose dito sa particular na usapin ng pag-amenda, possible na amendments sa economic provisions. We allow and we facilitate, no? Meaning to say, every time there's a question that being asked from our constituents, ano ba yung mga possible na mga gustong i-amend, we explain to them, no, kung ano yung saloobin ng House of Representatives, kung ano yung possible din na magiging usapin, no, pagdating sa whether the Senate or the House would vote jointly or would vote separately, because there are two schools of thought regarding this, no. So yun po yung mga ginagawa ng ating distrito, ang aking district office, at ini-explain sa ating mga kababayan kung ano yung mga possible na magiging usapin pagdating sa pag-amend sa economic provisions. But to give you a shorter answer, wala pong direktiba sa akin ang speaker, no? Personally, nagsabi ba na mag-initiate itong People's Initiative? Wala po tayong natanggap na direktiba from the speaker, no?
Congressman, may katanungan rin ng aking kapartner dito, si Bombo Alay. Bombo Alay, go ahead.
Okay, Congressman, dako naman po ako sa ibang usapin, ano? Ano naman ho yung naging reaksyon ninyo na ilang bansa na ho yung naglabas ng travel advisory sa kanilang mga mamamayan na wag muna raw bumiyahe, lalo na ho sa Mindanao. Ano po yung take ninyo dito, Congressman?
Well, they've been overreacting, no? They've been overreacting. In fact, ang Mindanao po ay it's the second largest island in the Philippines, and we can offer so many things: tourism, and we have a lot of tourist spots. Mindanao is relatively peaceful, no? At hindi yung if your question is connected with the recent bombing in Mindanao State University, it happened all over the world, no? And number two, it's just it does not happen every day, and so I guess my position on that is it would be detrimental for example, no, for other countries whose citizens are wanting to go to other places in order to travel. I think Mindanao can offer the best destination insofar as tourism is concerned. If they want to experience the culture, Mindanao has a very rich culture, and it's a very progressive area, no. Mindanao is composed of many urban cities, no, like Davao City, Cagayan de Oro. If you want to travel to and see tourist spots, like we have good waterfalls, good beaches, Mindanao should be at the top of your list.
Congressman, may update po ba tayo doon sa naganap na Marawi bombing?
Well, it's ongoing na nga po, no, 'di ba? Na mayroon na ho silang nahuli. In fact, may mga suspects na po sila, and we just allow what the investigation would lead to, no. But the primary suspects have already been apprehended, and if indeed the investigation would really prove that this is committed by an organized terrorist organization, then I think our PNP and our AFP, with their collaboration, no, with the direct cooperation of our LGUs, including the Mindanao State University system, would be able to apprehend and catch, no, whoever are also part of the bombing, no. Kung meron pa man diyan na nasa at large pa, I'm sure and I'm optimistic that our implementing agencies like the AFP and the PNP can finally apprehend them, no, as soon as possible time. So meron na po yung lead, at nahuli na po yung ating mga gumawa, no. In fact, yung suporta po na naibigay natin sa Mindanao State University from my end, no? From my district, tayo po yung cover ng kanilang medical expenses, yung mga na-admit na po sa may Pakpak Medical Center. So, yun po yung status ngayon ng ating investigation. May nahuli na po and may na-establish na po na suspects, and alam po nila kung meron pong mga ibang, kung possible na mayroon pang ibang mga involved dyan na at large, ay tinutugis na po ng ating otoridad.
Congressman, sa pagbabalik ho ng sesyon sa Kamara, may mga panukalang batas po ba kayo na inihain? Kung meron, ano po ito?
Well, meron po. Yung gusto po natin, inclusive ang ating pagbibigay serbisyo, lalong-lalo na po doon sa mga mentally challenged, or yung sinasabi po nating hindi ho katulad natin na gifted with all the complete faculties, no. Gusto ho natin magkaroon din ho sila ng pagkakataon para mabigyan ho sila ng sapat na serbisyo, no. So we filed the neurodivergent people's rights. Gusto po natin din na magkaroon ng amendment doon sa ating mga sa batas na kung saan kina-classify yung primary beneficiary, primary dependent, and secondary dependent. May mga tao po at mga empleyado ng ating gobyerno na wala nga po silang wala silang primary beneficiary dependents. Ibig sabihin walang mga anak, at kung wala naman po ang kanilang mga magulang, secondary dependents, tapos bibigyan ho sila ng pagkakataon to choose for themselves kung sino yung magiging dependents nila, para yung magiging benepisyo, if ever man, dahil sa kanilang serbisyo sa gobyerno, ay mapunta doon sa mga taong inanais nila makareceive, no. Gusto rin ho natin amendahan itong kasi ang assumption natin, because of the K-12, by the age of 22 years old, pag ang assumption natin is magiging productive na sila or employed na sila. So ang gusto ho natin din amendahan itong pagiging dependents nila, no, from their parents from 18 years old, kasi that's the maximum age. Ang gusto ho natin maging compatible with the K-12. So gusto natin taasan ang edad at maging 22 years old, because the effect of the K-12 is that once you graduate yung fourth year high school, I think the corresponding level in the current system is grade 10, if I'm not mistaken, grade 10, no. So hindi naman ho sila automatic ma-employ, because that's actually the intention of the K-12. Once you finish grade 10, you'd be able to get a job. You're hireable already. But there are so many of them, based on the statistics, many of them, in fact, wanted to proceed to 11 and 12 and then go to college. So yung age of dependency is 18 at the maximum. So gusto ho natin din maging compatible yon at ma-increasean yung kanilang edad from 18 to 22. So I think this would really help yung ating mga dependents, no, especially yung mga bata, no, ang ating kabataan na sa ngayon, based on the experience that we had in the previous years, starting from the operation of the K-12, we've seen na hindi naman ho sila some of them really are not really hired or not already employed after they finished grade 10.
With
So
that,
I think it's time, yes, to increase their age.
with that, maraming salamat po, Congressman, sa mga impormasyon na ibinahagi mo sa aming mga manonood at mga tagapakinig.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Mabuhay po ang inyong programa.